Welcome everyone to Held 400 to another Company Fears 2 replay cast, and this time we're gonna have a 4v4, as you can see, sent in by Lieutenant Smash, also known as Prince Habibu, whatever your name is. I really don't remember exactly. Abibihu. I don't know. He's gonna be the Soviets, and his friend is gonna be Meowth. Also the Soviets, already picking the partisans. Then we have Tydius as the USF and California Tustin as the Soviets as well. On the opposing side, we're going to have Peanut Cola playing as the OKW, Agalyar as the Wehrmacht, Tar with the Wehrmacht as well, and another Wehrmacht, SGS Daddy. Daddy. Cute. So of course this is going to be on Hell 400, so it's going to take a huge while for everybody to set up. Map's basically an almond. It's very tall and not very wide. There we are. So first engagement, we're going to have some conscripts and some poor re-echelons tugging along with some Stern Pioneers trying to get into close range. They're not going to succeed, however, against so many allies, but with the support of these folks, yeah, overall it seems like the Germans are winning the engagement, and they're even going to be able to wipe out one of the squads from California Tustin. And the re-echelons try to get for the church, but there's a cube wagon here, which will do quite a bit of damage to them. Not before they can get into the church and cause some damage in return. So at least the re-echelons will be able to do some good work holding up in that church and actually supporting for the allies. We're going to have a mortar. Mortar can deal with the MG42 from Galyar pretty easily. We'll see about that soon enough. Let's go check out the south. We have a engineer from Banana Smash. Yes, Banana Smash is now your name. He's gonna be going in the shack. There's no doors though into the west. See, he did tell me that he was under the influence when he played this, so we're gonna see some interesting things happen. He's gonna go for the Maxim spam, or rather, at least 2 Maxims. Maybe go for the Maxim spam later on. This is okay, of course, with the support of a mortar from his ally. This is even better. Meowth can use that glorious mortar to at least destroy the units that are pinned down. There's also another problem for them, which is German mortars. We have a German mortar approaching from SES Daddy, but with the Allied mortars in place, they can counter the German one as well and secure their MGs and forward positions. Overall, they should be able to keep these points under control and keep fuel income flowing. Yeah, it seems like these pioneers are going to stand no chance and be murdered. Although it technically is a murder if they fight back, but oh well. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. So we have Tydius going for the church really heavily. He's just going to put everything in there, just be a little bit of a nuisance. But the Germans are just like, okay, we're just going to ignore the church and take everything else. Seems like what they're doing is about that. They've got the point. They've got everything except fuel up here, and they're gonna just take over all the good cover and just defend themselves from the waves of allied forces that are trying to relieve the church from, well, this, and this is going to be easily able to destroy that. So, yeah, it was not a good idea to hold up in there for our American player Tydius. He's gonna go for Rifle Company. Rifle Company, of course, gives him the ability to go for the Easy-8s later on. Quite strong of a vehicle. Now, in the south, we have a bit of a push. Counter push actually from the Germans taking the VP, but with all these mortars around and all that infantry that's sitting still, they should be repulsed. In fact, they get wiped. Yeah, it does look like 4 corpses are there. No, 2, 1 more corpse. Yeah, but there's nobody escaping, so yes, they did get wiped. Now, overall, it just seems like the Allies are going to have a pretty good position. There's some partisans coming in from Banana Smash, so both our Soviet players are going for some partisans. Now on this map, the partisans really don't have a lot of places to spawn from, but they can be quite nasty with all the trees that are around. They can hide behind them and spring some ambushes, so that would be pretty okay for our Banana Smash and Meowth. In the meantime, they're going to be able to capture the center, but there's a lot of Axis forces in the area, so I don't think they're going to be able to hold it for very long, especially if they huddle up like this. This is going to be the best rifle grenade we've ever seen, but no rifle grenades coming. For some reason, the Grenadiers decide to shoot it out, and that, of course, is a mistake. So they get pushed away. Okay, some more flamethrower action, and they're going to be able to steal the mortar. Very good. In the meantime, the north is still under control of the Germans, though some, I guess, some pushes from the Germans indicate that at least the Allies are putting in pressure. They've got the VP. They're also getting the fuel from, of course, Banana Smash's partisans. So that means that overall, it seems like the northern two Allied players aren't doing all that well. They need to be helped. In the meantime, the partisans might be able to win against the Sturm Piles, but no, overall, just very, very close. Sounds like they tried to throw a grenade at the end, but it didn't really work out because they were already dead. In the meantime, in the south, we have a bit of a push coming in from Meowth, getting more partisans off of the shack. It's been definitely a bit of a partisan factory, but at the same time, really not much that the Axis are doing down here except mortaring, which of course doesn't really bring you a whole lot. You need to actually go in and cap the point if you're going to want to do some stuff. And it does not look like the Germans are ready to do that yet. Yeah, it seems like these Panzergrens are also capturing up the VP, but really not a lot is going to be coming out of that because there's a stolen MG from Tydeus, and he's going to be able to use that to pretty good advantage. He can go in and capture it, but unfortunately he's going to get pinned down by the MGs, and I'll think there's a mortar or two in the area. No, there aren't. Are there any support guns? Well, there's one coming up from the battle group headquarters, but still not enough. It seems like the Germans are really lacking in direct fire support in the north, but overall, they're doing quite well. They're going to be able to, they're actually not going to be able to repulse this entire blob of infantry, but with the MG over here, yeah, they cannot pass through this area because, of course, the MG from the church will not allow them to. And also, there's another MG here in the center. So overall, these allied troops aren't really going to be able to do all that much, considering they're very much boxed in by the MGs. Also, their MG goes down, rather this mortar, actually it is, goes down, and the folk streamers will be able to steal that. So that's a pretty good little pickup for our OKW player. And right now, yeah, overall, it just seems like the Germans will be able to capture the north, while the south still is under the control of the Allies. Now, let's check out the teching. California testing is already up to the tier 3 with the Tank Battalion Command, and Company Command Post for Tydeus has been researched. Also, the Major is on the field, so that means that the Battalion Command Post is also available, which is all quite fine. It's going to mean that the Allies are going to bring out some light vehicles soon, hopefully. We have Meowth with his Tank Battalion Command as well. We just have a lot of resources that aren't being spent. And in fact, Lieutenant Smash is going for that tier 4. So Mechanized Armor Company is going to be quite good for him. I would like to see some, perhaps, Katyushas. Yeah, at least one of the two Soviet players could go for some Katyushas, and the other could go with some T-34s or Sus. Speaking of tank destroyers, we see a Stug coming out for the Germans, which is going to be quite alright. The problem is the Allies have this radar intercept, so they're going to be able to know about any purchases from the Germans before it actually hits them in the face with a bunch of German lead. And at this point, ooh, Mark II clown car with the half-track, the M5 half-track, it's gonna go down. Yeah, well, I had some technical difficulties. Let's resume right away. So the huge infantry blob from Pinacola is just gonna destroy all the units from California Tustin. Tustin? Yeah, Tustin. I just keep pronouncing that name wrong. I think it's Tuslin, but it's actually Tustin, and he's actually rebuilding a couple of Maxims. So he's definitely feeling the hurt and the blaze of the pain. Right now in the south, we have a few mortar rounds falling on the positions of our heroes, Meowth and Lieutenant Smash. Of course, the mortar couple from Daddy isn't really doing all that much. I mean, along with the incendiary from the mortar half-track is doing a little bit, but in the end, the Soviets can just kind of reinforce and get up more troops. They're also building up a lot of mines, which is good, really nice. Laying down mines is exactly what they need to do. Just in case things happen and they have to retreat, they still have something in place to hurt the enemy. And Lieutenant Smash already has a T-34-76 out on the field, and he's going for a second one already, so that's very, very, very good. Because he's going to be able to just run at the, or I guess drive at the Germans from any angle really. Oh, actually no, not this one because there's a tower mine. He's gonna have to be a little bit careful about that. But overall, just not a lot of AT for Daddy. Tar is also pretty much stripped. I mean, he's got a couple of P-Shreks with P-Shreks up here, but yeah, again, they're kind of spread out on the north side of the map, and in the center he does not really have much of an AT presence. The other allies from the German team, we have Agalyar with one P-Shrek and a Stug, and Peanut Cola with a Arcane River. So really not a lot of AT. This double T-34-76 is going to definitely put a lot of work in, I hope, for the Soviets. If they're used very aggressively, they can do a lot. Meantime, looks like the Stug is going to have to face an M4C, an M4A3 EZ8. EZ8, yeah, if it were to flank around the Stug right now, would be in a really good spot, but it's facing it from the front, and it still manages to win, because that Stug was just way too close, and without any infantry support, especially the Stug is just so vulnerable. And with the infantry support that the Allies had, I mean, the infantry support didn't do anything, and did not get any AT grenades off of the Stug, but that would have been a very, very nice thing to see. Overall, it seems like the Sherman did exactly what it was supposed to do, and even got out kind of free. Get a lot of experience for that kill. Of course, pretty much destroyed it entirely by himself, on his own. That's pretty good. Guards Rifleman from California Teston. The two Maxims seem to be already in the fight. And of course, he went for Guards Rifle Combined Arms tactics. That means the ML20 instead of the T-34-85s that he would have gotten with Guard Mortar Coordination tactics. Of course, I mean, Guard Mortar Coordination is more meta, but I guess the Combined Arms is kind of okay. I mean, I don't really like the Hit the Dirt. I think it kind of just makes units more vulnerable to grenades. And the Conscript Assault package can be useful, but I mean, I'm not sure how many conscripts he's actually going to use. He's got one that survived from earlier, but I'm not sure if he's actually going to build anymore. Because why go for conscripts when you can go for more guards? I do not know. I feel like at that point he might as well just go for some extra guards. Although at some point you just have too many guards. I don't know. And then of course the ML20 later on, very, very strong against something like this with the howitzer. You can definitely bombard those OKW buildings quite a lot, and the T-34 very luckily does not go ahead and hit the mine. In fact, the chasing Panzerschrecks did manage to get a couple of shots off on it, but again, with no damaged engine, there's no way for those infantry units to actually chase down the vehicle. And right now, two Partisans coming in and getting suppressed by the MG42, but getting close enough for a grenade, I feel like. Where's the grenade? Ooh. Well, this is exactly why having that radio intercept is actually very useful. Now they know that there's a Panther coming in for Peanut Cola, of course the OKW one. They knew it was the OKW one because it was actually indicated that it was the OKW. So of course now the Allies know that the Germans have a pretty strong unit on the field, such as the Panther, and they need to be a little bit more careful with their T-34s. Also with their Katyusha, they need to be very careful because the Panther is an adept Katyusha hunter. Can definitely do quite a bit of damage to that. Basically one-shots the vehicle and can chase it down at will. Right now in the north we have the M4A3 EZ8. Another EZ8 can be bought by TTS. He has enough resources, so I feel like right now second EZ8 would definitely be a good decision. With EZ8s you can kind of just spam them out and see how it works, and then if the enemy just goes for something that you cannot deal with, it's a little bit too heavy, maybe they're protecting it too well with infantry, you can go for Jacksons as well to actually help support EZ8s. But overall, as a starter, the EZ8s are really quite good, and he's going to go for more of them. That's exactly what I would have done, I think. And right now, it seems like the Germans are actually coming in and trying to get some cutoffs. They've also captured the northern field point, which is very, very good. Of course, they have a Rakenwerfer and a bunker. It's an interesting choice. Of course, Peanut Cola with that bunker means that he went for Fortifications Doctrine. That's okay, especially because later on it's going to give him a LEFH howitzer to counter the American and the Soviet artillery, especially the Soviet one with the ML20 152mm. That's good. That's what that howitzer is going to be useful against. And looks like unfortunately this EZ8 is actually going to bite the dust because the Panther chased it down and there was no infantry support around to actually help the EZ8. I'm not sure why any of these players aren't really paying too much attention to how they support their vehicles with their infantry. They're really just kind of letting them run around with no escort, and that's kind of a huge mistake, especially on the big 4v4s, because there's a lot of possible dangers. 4 players means 4 times the possible stuff that could happen to your tank. So you just have to be very careful with that, and unfortunately this partisan man mortar is actually feeling the flame, although the partisans are forged in the fires of the, war, so they don't really care too much. They're like, whatever. A couple of us will die. We're fine. Deal with it. It's only a little bit of fire. When I was young, they would put us in the fire to, I don't know, punish us when we said bad words, and it's like, and we'd be fine, and we wouldn't complain. That's pretty much these partisans right now. And unfortunately for the Axis, it seems like the Allies have actually massed up quite the force in the middle. We have Easy-8s, T-34s, and Clown Cars from pretty much 3 players. And they're going to be charging up, and unfortunately these Panzer Grenadiers are not in a good position. They're going to actually be completely wiped out, I think. The last little guy is walking into a Katyusha barrage with a T-34 chasing him. And he luckily manages to escape, but the Katyusha rockets will not allow the other German infantry to live, along with the T-34. We have a Stug coming in and doing something. With no machine gun upgraded, it's really not going to do anything to that infantry. What's interesting, though, is this Panther. I was following it on the minimap, and the Panther is really what's going to be dangerous to the Allies, and right now that T-34-76 is about to feel that. The Stug comes in from the rear, thinks it's a medium tank, it isn't, and so it dies for its mistake. But unfortunately, the T-34 is taking a lot of fire from the Panther, so 75mm duking it out, but the German one's definitely the superior, and unfortunately for the T-34, it's going to have to escape. T-34, however, manages to live, which is quite surprising considering the Panther could have just chased and killed the T-34, but it decided not to. 2 more T-34s from Lieutenant Smash. These are the original ones. And they're doing quite well. I mean, 2 T-34s versus 1 Panther can do quite nicely. We have a Ram coming in with the marked vehicle from, of course, Partisan Doctrine. That's very dangerous for the Panther. It's basically stunned and very reduced in health, but one of the T-34s pays the ultimate price for it, and there wasn't really any follow-up to come after that Ram. Even just the single T-34 didn't even try to chase through and get behind the Panther to do some rear armor damage. And of course, the other T-34s and the Easy-8 as well really didn't follow up on that heroic sacrifice, so that was pretty much just wasted opportunities for the Soviet players. Right now, however, it seems like they have managed to take control of their center, and right now, that's quite good, because the VP situation is in the favor of the Axis a little bit. They have 75 points of a lead, and overall, it just feels like the Allies are on the rise, but the Germans definitely have a lot of aces up their sleeves, and including the huge number of Panzer Grenadiers and Panzerschrecks that they have on the field. For example, Daddy is the only one that doesn't have any of those. Yeah, and that's kind of dangerous for the very, very high amount of low HP medium tanks that the Allies are fielding, such as, of course, T-34-76s and, well, Easy-8s in a way, but Easy-8s actually have quite a bit of HP. Not the most, but a pretty respectable amount. Still quite dangerous for them to be around the Panzerschrecks. Not exactly the fight you'd want to pick with an Easy-8. Right now, yeah, these conscripts really have to retreat. Too much firepower in the area. Actually, Daddy went for 2 Stugs, and he's going to go for a 3rd Stug, so he was a little bit concerned with his lack of AT, and he's now going to spam Stugs. Again, this Stug spam, I just don't... It does not really strike anything with me. I don't really like it. I just dislike Stug spam really, really much. Really, really much. What? Really, really hard. I just don't like this. I just don't. I mean, this is cancerous. Nobody should do this. Anyway, enough of my Stug hate. I mean, Stugs are good. You might as well just spam them. They're cheap. They're very, very good against vehicles, as shown right now, although I'm not sure what killed this T-34. I'm pretty sure it's just the Panzerschrecks. Huge white phosphorus, actually gonna force away all the infantry, along with some support from the rear. Of course, a pretty big incendiary grenade, gonna deal a lot of damage to these guards and force them away as well. But it seems like the Allies can maintain the field over here, unless these Panzerschrecks aren't actually... yeah, these Panzerschrecks seem to be quite fine, but there's a fighting position in the area, so fighting position providing a lot of suppression on the Panzerschrecks. Panther comes in, I think a little bit too late, because There's going to be an incendiary barrage of some kind. No, a zeroing artillery, even more dangerous, from Peanut Cola. That's not going to be enough, however. There goes one of the vehicles with actually a command Panzer IV. Not that useful, especially dead. And 2 Panthers might be able to punch through all these Soviet and, well, Allied vehicles in general, but oh, that was actually a fragmentation bombing. Yeah, that was a fragmentation bombing along with the big artillery strike. This is potentially very dangerous because the Allied vehicles are actually sitting in the artillery barrage, and that's not good at all because that allows the Panthers enough, essentially, support to just charge in, actually charge through the artillery, guns blazing, and they eat a lot of damage, goes down one of those Panthers, but all the other American and Soviet vehicles are dead, except for the Su-85. The Su-85 is at maximum range, sniping away at the German tanks, and doing quite well for it, especially with the support of that Jackson, but it does not manage to get any more kills to get revenge on the destroyed vehicles. So I think overall that was a pretty decent engagement for the Germans. They also managed to bring up some infantry, and yeah, now they could just keep this PaK-AT gun in in the area, and that should be enough to deal with the T-34s or whatever tries to come in. There's also a railway artillery from Galyar, and the railway is actually kind of missing, so that's not fortunate for the Axis at all. But there goes the T-34, actually goes abandoned, and the Partisans are going to steal the PaK, or at least they should. This could be pretty good for the Allies. I mean, overall they lost the engagement, but they at least get a PaK back. PaK's, of course, very, very strong. The only problem really seems to be that the Germans are really strong when it comes to off-map artillery and airstrikes, especially artillery. So you have light artillery barrages from Tar. We have from a Galyard, of course, railway artillery, which is already reloaded and already active again. We have, of course, zeroing artillery from Peanut Cola, which is the most dangerous, potentially. Oh, that's unfortunate. Is that 2 conscript squads? I think that was 2 conscript squads from, that must have been Meowth. Yeah, Meowth, very, very depleted at this point. Only a Katyusha left. Looks like he's going to go for the Katyusha role. He's going to get more Katyushi, and that's probably very, very smart for him because his units on the front line just got obliterated, so he needs some kind of, like, breathing space. His allies can kind of hold the line and keep the Germans occupied and busy while he builds up some Katyushas, gets some reserves of course, resources, and then eventually comes back on the field with new forces. Right now, ooh, they're actually using the spy network as well, so that's revealing on the minimap the locations of all the German troops, which is very, very useful. There's a PaK-43 also in the area from Peanut Cola. This could be revealed anytime soon, and as soon as it is revealed, it is going to basically go down to the Katyusha spam instantly, I'm thinking. So I'm not 100% that this was a good idea from Peanut Cola. I think that, like, the PaK-43 is really much better on maps where you can hide it behind any kind of obstacles, and right over here would be a little bit too far away to actually help in the center behind those trees, so that's not really viable. And yeah, overall, I don't really like the PaK-43 on this map. Anyway, so Stug allows itself, actually no, T-34 allows itself to get flanked by the Stugs. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. Another T-34 looks like went down in the attack, and then the other one goes and suffers the same fate. There's also 3 Su-85s on the field for Lieutenant Smash, so I think he's really pushing that Su-85 sort of, I guess, spam tactic. I'm not sure what to really call it. I don't like only tank destroyers. Just like the Stug spam, I feel like it's just way too inflexible. And the Stug spam, however, gets supplemented by a Tiger. That's not good for the Allies. Not at all, especially if the Tiger can, use its anti-infantry killing power to bleed the Allies dry. Right now, however, it's in a pretty tough spot with an EZ-8 and the 76mm field gun and the Su-85s breathing down its neck, so it has to retreat as quickly as possible. However, with only Su-85s being present for Prince Abibu, he's going to be in a pretty tough spot in case he gets flanked. So he needs some kind of help covering the flanks for the Su-85s. Right now, he does not have anything of the sort, so that means that he's kind of in a bad position overall with regards to armor. So he needs something extra to, like, add some meat to his defenses and get that flank protection that he so desperately needs. Also because the Su-85s, yeah, they're maybe pretty good, but they're not the fastest. And so whenever you have to like reposition to other areas of the map, like right now he's trying to do, I'm not sure what he's doing. Oh, he's actually defending the flank with the Su-85s. Yeah, he's also afraid of getting overrun from the north. Clearly. Also, wow, that was a huge push from Peanut Cola. I'm not quite sure how the Allies allowed all those units to get wiped. I mean, they lost a Maxim. They lost, looks like at least 2 guard squads. Or, well, maybe it was just a lot of guards models. Yeah, at least 1 guard squad going down in that engagement. Not good. Also, losing a stolen MG42. Bad. So California Testing, once again, is pretty much out of infantry. And now he has to rebuild some Maxims because he's out of both infantry and support weapons. So he needs something extra to deal with the German spam. Right now, ooh, there goes the mortar half-track, and the flank from the Jackson is going to spoil the life of the Stuke 3G. Mercilessly coming down, and, well, that was an interesting panzer tactician. And fortunately for the Allies, they're getting flanked by 2 Stukes and a Tiger from all sides. That's not good. That's not good. Although, since the fact that, because of the fact that those were Stugs, I mean, they really weren't able to capitalize and exploit that breakthrough and flank that they did. Overall, it seems like at least one of the Stugs goes down, the Jackson goes down. Overall, it's a good trade for the Germans. I mean, they also lost a mortar half-track and another Stug there. So I guess, no, overall, it's a good trade for the Allies. Not if they lose this veterans to Su-85, though. There goes another Stug, and the Su-85 is going to live. So actually very, very well played by the Allies, managing to get a favorable trade in the end. Very much in their favor. Right now, it just seems like, oh, this is dangerous. T-34 does not really care a lot. It's not amused by the railway artillery at all. It's like, period, but I'm actually standing still. This means forward, but he's actually standing still. And he does not really give too much of a damn. Right now, he's just kind of there, and he's waiting for another T-34 from Smash. So, not really too happy with his all Su-85 lineup. I definitely enjoy that T-34 purchase. I think it's a very smart decision. He needs the extra bit of versatility that the T-34 can provide to help defend the Su-85s. And if he loses some extra infantry, such as, for example, this Partisan, that's a vet 0, then he can go for an extra T-34-76 to get 2 T-34s and 3 Su-85s, which would be a very, very strong lineup to pretty much deal with any threat at this point. So we have Peanut Cola with a Panther. He's also floating a lot of resources. That's because he's essentially at top cap, but if he loses the Panther, he could come out with a KT, so that's kind of scary. A Galyar is going for a Panther and a Panzerwerfer. Did the Panzerwerfer do anything? Yes, it's got 10 kills, so that's definitely good. Here comes a huge barrage from something? What was that? So that was a white phosphorus along with the Panzerwerfer. So I was like, wait, when did the Panzerwerfer get a white phosphorus rocket barrage? Yeah. Anyway, so the white phosphorus plus the Panzerwerfer, basically making it impossible for any infantry to be in the area. Right now, yeah, the Allies are pushing up, but they don't really have a lot of troops to do this, but it's doing damage. I mean, it took out 2 MGs and a mortar, so right now, definitely that push doing some work, despite the fact that only a couple of infantry squads were in it. There's a bit of a support from the Maxims by California Testing, and California Testing is actually spamming Maxims really hard. He's got 2, 3... Whoa, 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 whoa. So one of them is an MG42. The other ones are all Maxims. Right now he's going to lose one of them. I mean, interesting enough, that stun didn't really stun. That T-34-76 is going to die. Unfortunately, it didn't ram. It just kind of did it manually. It DIY'd the ram, and so it didn't really do too much. But it still went down. I mean, the Panther still went down from the Su-85s. One of those is up to Vet 2, so that's very, very scary for the Germans, and they need to concentrate all forces to try to take out that thing as quickly as possible, because if it gets to Vet 3, it's going to get even more penetration. Actually, no, it's fire rate. Penetration is at Vet 2. So that's going to be the golden combination of having both penetration and rate of fire. After that point, the Su-85 becomes a very, very, very strong killing machine for vehicles. Right now, it seems like the infantry force from Peanut Cola is actually strong as hell. It's got 3 Volksgrenadiers with very, very high veterancy, and also a very, very highly vetted Sturm Pioneer squad with 27 kills as well. So that squad doing quite well. Not bad at all. Also a support gun. Overall, it seems like Peanut Cola is really providing the bodies for the frontline pushes of the Germans. A Galliard doesn't really have a lot of forces. Daddy has some troops, but they're mostly Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadiers doing quite nicely and taking out one of these Su-85s. Oh no, very luckily 40 Su-85 manages to get just outside of the range. And in the meantime, however, he lost one of the Grenadier squads, actually. That was a Grenadier squad with an MG42. And he's losing a lot of models on those Panzer Grenadiers, which are expensive to reinforce. He might even lose some squads as he walks through a Katyusha barrage in the retreat. Yes, he loses one squad. Not good at all. Also, the Germans are trying to bring in more infantry to push for the center, but it's not really working out that well for them. I mean, they have a Tiger to help support, but it looks like the Soviet armor is just kind of everywhere, and the M43 EZ8 is also doing just fine. In the meantime, I think that this Maxim heavy machine gun is kind of tempting fate with the support gun being there, but overall, I think the Germans might just be able to hold over the center. And what's interesting is that the Allies really haven't paid any attention to the north at all. They could have just walked in and kind of... Wait, is that a double... Is that an infamous double, you know, weapon bunker? Yes, it is. So both an MG and our Arkan River in the area. Not going to be easy to deal with this area, but it would just take, you know, an EZ8. Oh, actually you cannot walk an EZ8 or drive an EZ8 through this. Too many tank traps. Yeah, that's a lot of tank traps. I see. I mean, you could just walk a tank and attack move the tank trap and it would kill it in like 4 shots. But I guess the Allies don't know that. So Tydeus, unfortunately, Tydeus. Tydeus, unfortunately, getting kind of robbed out of a potential flanking opportunity and, of course, the opportunity to take down one of the VPs for the Germans will be pretty important for the Allies because right now they're at 150 points left. So they could do with a lot of extra points, but they don't have any extra points. So overall, not the best situation for them. At least they've been able to keep control over the south pretty much indefinitely, and sounds like as if there's a stalemate because I don't really see anything happening right now. Well, other than this push against the Stug. Not sure why the Stug came up so far to the Allied lines. Of course, he kind of destroyed a fuel cache, but I mean, it's not worth losing a Stug over. So Stugs once again proving their worthlessness, as opposed to, of course, Allied medium tank spam. I mean, of course, the Allies are just using their vehicles a lot better than Giladi's using his Stugs. Right now, the Tiger still hasn't really been able to do too much. The Tiger's got 2 kills and I mean, a little bit of damage dealt because, of course, it's got almost a Ved 1. So that's not bad, but it just does not really seem like the Axis are using their vehicles correctly. I mean, they keep pushing in their Stugs alone. Vanni escort. Now they're doing so with the Panthers. Why is there a T-70 here? California testing. Do you know that a thing such as Tier 4 exists? Yes, you do. You built it. So, why aren't you building units out of this thing? You have... Oh, it's the AI. Right. So he kind of dropped at some point, did he? Okay. Must have dropped at one point or another. That's very unfortunate. Anyway, ooh. Oh, that's interesting. T-34 goes for the ram, but of course the Panther's dead anyway because of the lovely Mark vehicle. Mark vehicles, of course... Wait, what? That was hilarious. So, abandoned before it could ram into the mortar half-track. Not the best target. And oh no, there's an Ostwind. Why go for an Ostwind when you're Tier 4? You could go for a Brumbear. That's much better. Also, firing Panzerwerfers at vehicles really doesn't do too much, unlike, for example, the Stuka. And at this point, that Su-85, charging forward to see what's going on, should have just used the focus sight, probably. Of course, he wanted to take out the T-34, which was being repaired. He did manage to accomplish that mission, and because the Tiger was just so incredibly cautious and defensive, he is going to get away with it. I mean, that Su-85 should be dead right now. That's all because of that Tiger being so very, very scared. And at this point, very nice usage of attack round. Destroys both the Tiger and the Panzerwerfer. Very, very well played by Lieutenant Smash. At this point, looks like the Germans are mostly broken on the center flank of the map. The center also is kind of empty of German troops. Looks like all of the support weapons have been decrewed, including the Pak 43 AT gun. They just have one AT gun left and a couple of troops coming in to try to capture the point, but of course there's a pretty big American force that's kind of just going to prevent them from doing that. Concentrated fire from the Garans and the Lieutenant going to easily take out that machine gun. Also, the Allies can steal quite a lot of support weapons, which would be, of course, quite nice. And when the Allies come in with their vehicles, there isn't really going to be too much of an opposition because the Germans really are low on when it comes to armor. I mean, a Galliard is going for another Ostwind. Why are you going for Ostwinds? You do not see my face right now, but I'm shaking my fist at the screen. And right now, yeah, that's just not good. Don't go for Ostwinds in the late game. This is not a good unit in the late game. It's like, how do you not understand that not hurting tanks when the enemy has a lot of tanks is bad? Anyway, it's not even particularly well armored. And there goes the Stug, there goes the Ostwind. Pak 40 might be able to survive a little while and get a lot of damage done on the Allied vehicles. In fact, the Stug might survive because of the Panzer Tactician from that Stug. Well, Hero Panzer Tactician also takes out the T-34-76 because they weren't able to disable the Pak 40 in time. Although, at the end, it would have just gone down to the Pak 43 anyway. Overall, I mean, not a good trade for the Allies. They lost a T-34 to take out an Ostwind. While in terms of resources, that's pretty good. Overall, it's just not good because the Ostwind's worthless and the T-34 isn't. Here comes a lot of AT grenades on these vehicles. Actually, no AT grenades. They all go down and run away. Yeah, unfortunately, Meowth is not really having a lot of success with his conscripts. He's really taking a lot of losses. He needs to be a little bit more careful. He's blobbing a little bit too much. That's not good for his health, nor for his manpower pool. And right now, it seems like that, pretty great Katyusha barrage going to deal a lot of damage to the infantry. In fact, it might wipe all of them if it wasn't so incredibly unlucky. Yeah, that's not nice. Although, still quite a lot of damage dealt. Not too bad. Also, T-34-76 comes in and basically runs over all the Panzer Grenadiers. Drops one of the Panzerschrecks, which could be very, very scary if the Widerstand troops, for example, pick it up. That's not good for our German player. Losing Panzerschrecks is not exactly the best thing. And right now, it seems like both sides are just kind of building up for another big push. The Allies have semi-good control over the center. It's mostly contested right now, but the Allies are definitely in the advantageous position. I'm not sure why that Pioneer was repairing the MG. And overall, whoa, a T-34 has broken through. So California Testing's AI knows that it can destroy tank traps. And so it actually just approaches and uses the T-34 to take out the MG in the trench, I hope, and come in with its own troops and capture the area. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for California Testing, if, of course, he can decap the point, which he may not be able to. Wait. Why did Lieutenant Smash mark vehicle the Panther? I feel like that's not a very good idea, because he wasn't going to follow up anyway. Why would you mark vehicle to help on AI? The AI isn't going to kill the Panther. Yeah, I feel like even he does not know that his ally dropped. Anyway, interestingly enough, the AI is doing a pretty good job in holding the center with 2 MGs and a Zissou M17, which is essentially just an MG with a half-track under it. And yeah, overall, doing quite fine. The Allies are trying to charge across and deal some blows to Daddy, but Daddy, being Daddy, doesn't really care too much. He's got the Tiger, still hasn't done... This is another Tiger, actually. Yeah, because the veterancy is lower. Still got 2 kills, but it's got lower veterancy, so I'm pretty sure that it's another Tiger. Still, actually the Tiger does something and takes out the Jackson. Unfortunately for the Axis, a little bit of artillery comes in and they have to retreat. Huge horde, gonna just charge across when there's no artillery. Oh wait, there is artillery, and it's actually devastating because they all tunnel into that choke point. That was devastating. 69 kills for the Katyusha. I'm pretty sure most of those came from this barrage. That was absolutely absurd. So Tar went from having the most scary infantry force in the game to having a machine gun. Well, that was not savory for him. Yeah, 4 Katyushas, 5 Katyushas from Meowth. Of those, 2 are pretty impressively vetted up with vet free, of course. 33 kills from one, 69 from the other. So that's 72, 102 kills, 110 kills, 117 kills, 117 kills from all the Katyushas. That's quite nice for the allies. So Meowth is kind of throwing everything else out of the window, going for 5 Katyushas. Not the worst decision, surprisingly enough. I mean, he's going for a T-34-76 now. Probably good. I mean, overall, he does not want to go too heavily into Katyushas. I mean, I feel like I would have stopped after 3, but he went the extra mile and went for 5. I guess it's working, so I'm not complaining, and it's also entertaining as hell, so I'm definitely not complaining, but I would have stopped at 3. It would have been more reasonable at that. Still, with 5 Katyushas, he's doing quite fine, and now he's going for some T-34-76s, having clearly realized that he does not need any more Katyushas at this point. Tidius lost some units, and then decided to not rebuild them. He's got a few MGs. I'm guessing at least one of those is stolen. 2 of those are stolen. 3 of those are stolen. So he's got 3 stolen MGs, his usual infantry composition of 2 riflemen, a lieutenant, and now a captain. I'm not sure if he lost the captain at any point in time or had to rebuild it. No, he's had that captain throughout the game and also that rear echelon, I'm guessing, throughout the game. Yeah, he's just been very, very nice with not losing his infantry. He's just only lost his vehicles. Yeah, he's only lost an ET gun and a mortar when it comes to, you know, soft, fleshy type of units. But he's lost a lot of vehicles. And he's finally starting to rebuild some. He's going for a Jackson and an Easy 8. I feel like 2 Easy 8s and a Jackson is a pretty good combination, especially when you have to deal with Panthers, because the Easy 8s provide the flexibility and the chasing potential, and also the flanking to get behind it and try to block it. And also, I guess, the cannon fodder aspect, whereas the Jacksons provide the killing power. So overall, pretty good little play out of him. Also, good play from Pinacola. Surprisingly, he has been definitely the strongest German player throughout the game. He's got this Pack 43, which, while in a decently exposed position, it's still alive, partially because he's been using his Pioneers to repair it so well. He's also managed to bring to the table a very, very, very strong contingent of infantry. Not quite as strong as the Panzergrenadier Horde of of old, but now that the Panzergrenadier Horde is dead, I guess that's the strongest infantry force in the German team. And also going for a couple of vehicles that are definitely helping out. I mean, without these Panthers, the Germans would really, really be lacking when it comes to flexibility and, I guess, aggressiveness on the field with their armor. Right now, fragmentation bombing completely misses. It actually shocks the Stub crew and stuns it. So that's interesting. The fragmentation bombing basically signing the death sentence of the Stub if the Su-85s provide some attack round potential. Unfortunately misses. Anyway, overall, it seems like the Germans are trying to push in, but they're taking a lot of damage in return for their troubles. Also, the Allies are being basically... Yeah, the Allies are being completely destroyed on the northern flank. That is because there's the AI there. Whereas the center is just kind of standing there under artillery fire, not really caring too much, whatever happens. And right now, Tidius has an interesting push coming in. He's destroyed the bunker with the Rocket Riffer inside, thanks to the usage of a white phosphorus, and of course the M43 Easy 8. And now that the sort of coast is clear for the infantry because of no MGs, he's going to push in the infantry and capture some points. Looks like the Jackson went down, or sounds like, rather, because of the that the Jackson crew so theatrically kind of displayed. And right now, Jackson's dead. A lot of Germans are also dead, and the center part is no man's land. But it doesn't really matter because the Allies are actually capturing the north finally. After all this time, they've managed to get a squad north and do something about the whole situation, where they just didn't have control over that area for no real reason. I mean, they could have just pushed in and forced the Axis to redeploy a lot of forces and be just a very, very hassly business for them. And, ooh, very, very nicely, pushing in the Easy 8 and managing to catch the Panther while it's repairing with a marked vehicle on it. He could take it out. Of course, the marked vehicle does not actually improve the penetration on the tank, just the damage. But the Easy 8 manages to penetrate anyway, and now it's trying to desperately escape the clutches of the Panzerfaust. Fury is being reenacted right now. The damaged tank with the MG on top, managing to escape from the clutches of the Panzerfaust-wielding Germans. But at this point, looks like it is going to be the death of... Wait, was it Tom Hanks that was in that movie? I don't remember. Or was that just Saving Private Ryan? Anyway, might have been Tom Cruise. I don't remember who was in Fury, but, well, Fury's dead. Rip Fury. And, yeah, but the Germans are going to be roasted, so it doesn't really matter. They're going to be roasted by the AI, and looks like some mortars? Where are the mortars coming from? One of them is a LEIG. And the other one is... Where was that mortar fire coming from? I have no idea. Anyway, so the Allies are going to recapture the north, capturing the center, actually. It looks like the Germans really don't have the forces required to stop them, and that's kind of a shame for our German players. Overall, it just seems like they are not having the best day in the center. The Pack 43 has been destroyed again. I like the medical packs right outside the Pack 43. I'm not sure that the Pack 43 crew can actually use these. Nope, sorry for the burp. Yeah, I don't think that it can use them. Nope, it cannot, because the thing isn't turning into a hand, so... That's a nice spot, though. I really love this. I'm actually going to screenshot this, post it on Katyusha.org. That's kind of cool. That's a kind of a cool thing. Anyway, yeah, the center is just the domain of these Su-85s. Anything that comes into their kingdom pays the price. They get sent to the gulags mercilessly. And, ooh, actually these Stugs being reconned by fire by the artillery, because, of course, whenever you hit something with artillery that's hiding in the fog of war, it kind of goes, well, it kind of gets spotted, and the result of that is that the Su-85s come in and plow it. So, overall, it just seems like the Germans are kind of toast. I don't see how they can come back. I'm actually going to speed forward. It seems like the Allies are being very defensive. I mean, look at the minimap right now. Look at this line. Look at this line. Like, this is a concave of doom right now on the axis. The Allies really aren't pushing in with their forces because they're so very much defensively focused. Like, not, of course, the Easy 8 spammer. Well, not really spammer, but Easy 8 guy, Tydius. Or maybe just Titus, who just wants to be pronounced in a Latin way. Anyway, not him, but everybody else in this, allied team is just so very focused on the defensive. Of course, I mean, there's the AI, but with, of course, Lieutenant Smash, Prince of Ibu, he's got the spam with C-85s, then Meowth has the spam with Katyushas. They don't really have anything that can push. In fact, 6th Katyusha, ding ding ding, don't really have anything that can push, so they're just kind of holding on to the center and the south. Whenever anything German, anything even remotely German shows its face, they have like a flowchart. So if it's made of metal, yes, then Su-85. No, then Katyusha. That's pretty much the flowchart right now. The flowchart of how to defend the center point. Anyway, the south is, yeah. I don't think Daddy's going to be able to do too much here. I mean, he might get something done while the Su-85s aren't there, but, or, well, even the T-34s aren't there, but now the T-34s are coming in. And it's going to be the end of the poor Germans in the area. Overall, yeah, it seems like this T-34-76 isn't going to have a good time. Nope. Dead. The AI doesn't really care though, because the AI is merciless. It's a robot. It does not feel for its troops nor its digital tanks. And overall, I just think that this game is going to be over, so I'm just going to speed forward. I don't see how the Axis is going to come back. I mean, of course, the Allies only have 100 VPs, so if the Axis can do a very nice push, I guess, and destroy a lot of Allied forces and prevent them from recapturing 2 of the points, they can hold on for like I guess 4 or 5 minutes and then get the win, but nah, overall it does not seem very realistic right now. And what is this Easy 8 doing? Is this the Corner King? Yeah, Corner King Easy 8 does not really care. Right now the Panther is trying to chase into the area, but nah. Sniper from the AI doing some work on the Panzer Grenadiers. Interesting. And right now the huge armada of vehicles from Prince Abibu is going to destroy the Ostwind. Nothing really too major. We have a big push coming in from the AI, driving a wedge between, of course, what's this guy's name? Peanut Cola and the rest of his allies. Of course, that's not too good for Peanut Cola, who's kind of not using his resources, and overall he's just kind of fighting over the north while not really caring what his allies do. And right now this is going to spell the end of his allies as those poor Grenadiers go down mercilessly by the Katyusha wave of doom. And overall, I just think that the Germans, I mean, they just didn't really buy the right tanks, I don't think. They never really went for tier 4 anti-infantry. They just went for Panthers and Ostwinds and Stugs. That's basically all they built, with the exception of the Tiger from, the Tigers from Daddy. They just didn't go for anything when it comes to anti-infantry, and that really kind of bit them in the rear, especially when they could have gone for like something with, you know, something like a King Tiger maybe from Peanut Cola. And maybe, I don't know, Tar could have gone for Panthers, and then a Galliard could have gone for Stugs and Brim Bears. Maybe something like that. They could have organized it that way, but then they decided to just spam a lot of Stugs and a lot of Panthers, and throw in some Ostwinds for flavor, which didn't really work. Because, of course, the Allies kind of used the division of labor, I guess, a little bit more. They had one guy with spams of SUs, the other guy with the Katyushas, the other guy with, of course, the Easy 8s, and then everybody else threw in just a little bit of extra with what they needed at the time. So division of labor working out quite fine for the Allies. Not really any coordination coming in from the Axis. Not that good. Not that good of a show at all from our Axis players. On that front, I mean, of course, we had some singularly good performances, like, individually good performances, like Peanut Cola, and ooh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, so that squad goes down. I was about to talk about how he kept his infantry alive throughout the game, and then one of his infantry squads dies. In fact, two of his infantry squads died there. So overall, not good. And yeah, another Panther is not going to be doing anything at all. And that's going to be the end of the game, I think, because, of course, the Allies are going to capture the center, and that's going to be the triple cap. Although, still on triple cap. Anyway, so we have 95 kills on one Katyusha. That is something else. 95 kills, 52 kills, 38 kills. That is just so many kills. 40, 90, 185. And they're getting more. I was trying to count them, but they're just getting more. This was so many kills by the Katyushas. That's insane. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the game. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. This was definitely very entertaining. And I'll see you soon. Su-85s salute you. And Katyushas salute you as well. See you.